So as Derek mentioned, I am the founder and CEO of Kollective Mobile, which is a mobile development agency located in the Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area. We are entering our 6th year of business, which is fantastic and great, and I'm really happy about that. One of the things that always happens when you tell people what you do, if you're in app development, is that everyone always says, I got a great idea for an app, and they want you to listen to it. And oftentimes it's going to be better than WhatsApp, it's going to be bigger than Uber, it's going to be better than Airbnb, and they're going to let you build it and give you a percentage of whatever it is they make. So I flew here from New York, I think late Tuesday night, and between New York and here, I think I've listened to about 10 app ideas, everything from cab drivers to bartenders. Everybody's got an app idea. And it's fantastic, and I always listen because what it means for me is that it validates my business, right? It makes me quite pleased that I chose to go into mobile development 6 years ago, so I always say, okay, it's a good idea that it's a good thing that everybody has an idea for an app because I'm in the right business. But what it also means is that mobile has proliferated, right? Everybody is now walking around with a smartphone, a mobile device in their pockets or in their bags. And so it means that it's now a part of our lives and even a part of our business. And so as I talk to people, whether it's for work or just casually talking to them about the business of apps, I find that there are 5 things that always come up that I always talk to them about. So I'm going to share those 5 things with you this morning. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to run through them really quickly. The first one is know your business. The second one is know your customer. The third one is find your mobile moment. The next one is what is the next one? The next one is address critical issues immediately. And the final one is always be improving, okay? So let's start with the first one. The first one being know your business. I always tell people when they say they have an idea for an app that you need to look at it like a business. And they're like, no, it's just an app. And I said, but when you think about the investment of time and money that you have to make, you might as well consider the application as a business, right? And as the person with the idea, it is really your job to know more about that app and the business of that app than anyone else. Even if you come to me and you want me to develop the app, I'm gonna ask you critical questions, and I expect you to answer them. I expect you to know about them. I expect you to know how that application fits into your business. Whatever it is that you're doing, how will that app fit into your business, and how will it help you to make money, right? So that's the first thing. Know your business. Know it better than anybody else. The second thing is know your customer. Aside from you, the customer is the most important person, right? So people always say, what's the first thing that I should do if I have an idea for an app? And I always say, grab a pen and a paper and write down everything about that application that I need to know as a user. You don't necessarily have to know how to design or develop. That's why I'm here. But I'm going to ask you questions as a user. How do I interact with this application? What do I need to do? What happens when I click here? What happens when I click there? And I expect that to be a partnership with you as we develop the application. So know your customer. Also, do your due diligence and find out, is anybody else doing what you do, right? People often say, well, I'm just going to put the app out there and see what happens. That's not a really good strategy. You have to do your competitive research. You have to understand, even if you're just submitting the app to an app store, you have to put it in a category. Who's doing what you're doing in that category, and how are you doing it better and serving your customer better than anybody else, right? The third thing, find your mobile moment. There's a really good book that I read, I think, about a year ago. It's called The Mobile Mind Shift. And it was written, I think, by some Forrester researchers. And basically what it consists of is a bunch of case studies of large companies and corporations that have integrated mobile quite successfully into their overall strategy. And one of the key tenets of the book is that you need to find your mobile moment. And I love it, and I often tell people, especially entrepreneurs and startups when they come to me, is to find your mobile moment. You're saying, what is your mobile moment? Your mobile moment is that moment where someone picks up their mobile device and uses it to conduct a transaction that is critical to your business. That is your mobile moment, because it means that you can't live without them and they can't live without you. They have to perform that transaction. It's critical to your business. So once you find out what your mobile moment is, then you can create your app around that. Then you can talk about your user and your business, and everything else, in theory, falls into place, right? That's number 3. Number 4, let's say you go through all of that. You have your app created. Your app is in the App Store. Happy. What do? You're done, right? Everything's done? This is one of the single biggest issues that I have with people who have ideas for apps. What they may or may not understand is that because mobile devices are actually computers, what you're doing is software development. And it's really important to understand that with software development, you're almost never done. And there's almost always going to be issues, and there's almost always going to be bugs and things that pop up, right? So it's never sort of a set it and forget it kind of thing. The app is done. I'm just going to cruise. People are going to download it. I'm going to be a millionaire. That almost never happens. So you have to think about addressing those critical issues first. You might say, what are those critical issues? I would say critical issues are anything that prevent your users from engaging in that mobile moment. So if something's crashing, you want to address it right away. If you're messing with people's money, that's something you want to address immediately. If they cannot create, or they cannot do that one transaction that represents your mobile moment, then you should address those critical issues immediately. If anybody remembers, I think it was 2012 when Apple released their version of Maps, and that was a complete fiasco. I know personally I spent about 15 minutes driving around in a circle in Berkeley trying to find a location, and it told me that I was there, but I wasn't there, obviously. So, you know, like any other software development project, you're going to have issues. The important thing is to address them quickly, issue an update, and keep moving forward. The final thing I would say is always be improving. Like I said, it's never a set it and forget it situation. You are always going to be improving your application, and if you have a substantial number of users, you're going to hear from them. They're going to tell you what works, they're going to tell you what doesn't work, they're going to tell you what they like, and they may or may not even be suggesting new features that you want to implement into the application. So these are things that you need to consider and bear in mind as you develop your application. I think those are my five points telling me to wrap up, so thank you.